Hi, this is Champlet 2 on the PlayStation Network. This series of videos will show all of the preps, setups, and finales of Act 1, 2, and 3 of the Doomsday Heist. After doing this heist a few times, I've noticed how difficult it is to follow the storyline while shooting and trying to stay alive. So that's what inspired me to make these videos to allow you to watch it almost like a movie. I'll make every effort not to talk over the heist story dialogue so you can hear what the story's all about. I'll offer some basic information about the heist missions, but this will not be a tips and tricks video for the Doomsday Heist. This video will feature the setups for Act 2, the Bogdan Problem. The first that we're going to do, we're just going to do these in the order they come up, is Setup Avenger. You can do them in pretty much any order you want. But we're going to go ahead and just do them in order. I did want to mention here that the heist clothing, they don't offer you the option to do your own player-owned outfits. You have to use the ones they give you. So here we go.
The Avenger's in a hangar at LSIA. It's a Merryweather hangar, ho-ho. These are bad people. Soldiers of fortune, scumbags for hire. Actually, in my dealings with them, they've been perfectly pleasant. You hired Merryweather? Yeah, of course. Really helped with our third-tier territory rollout. So much local knowledge in traditionally business-averse economies. By local knowledge, you mean who to bribe and who to kill? They're marvelous consultants. You know Don Percival? No. Great guy. Kite surfer. Deeply moral. Yeah, he's an inspiration to us all. Totally. The man disrupted the military sector, brought B2B outsourcing to the geopolitical sphere. I mean, what is Merryweather if not a lean, mean, results-focused, disruptive business tool startup? Percival, the CEO, has become a personal friend. He's a doer and a visionary. And a war criminal. Can't forget that. Please, I'd love to try and see this from your blinkered, Stone Age, moralist perspective. But right now, we've got $50 million worth of tilt-rotor aircraft to take off them, right? Yeah. Glad we can agree. Head out to the airport. We're going after the Avenger dual-capability aircraft. Its rotors tilt so you can fly it like a plane or a chopper. And if you don't want to fly at all and you want to man the gun turrets, it's got autopilot. Exactly the versatility you'll need in a combat situation. But when we get it, we can use it to launch our operation on the big submarine off the coast. You know, the one controlled by a rogue Russian military unit that's probably armed with nuclear warheads. that we're being paid to do something about for some reason. Yeah, cool. Government funding sure does fill up the bank account. This must be what it feels like to be a corn farmer. Heavily subsidized, only with extra murdering.
Just as a quick reminder on the setups, you can do these in an invite-only session or a closed friend session. You don't have to do these in a public session. Even if you do them in a public session, you'll still be left alone. The other people in the room can't bother you. Now you'll notice there I skipped ahead. I just skipped a little bit of the travel time, but you didn't miss any dialogue.
Okay, you're coming up on the Merryweather hangar. The key cards will get you in without disturbance. I see no reason to anticipate anything other than a smooth operation here.
doing this on normal difficulty, which frankly is hard enough. What we decided to do is just take out as many guys as we possibly could and try to get up here to, I guess this is the first level above the floor, and use this building for cover so we could take out some more guys. I did say this wouldn't be a tips and tricks video, but it just so happened that in the recording of this we did come up with a pretty neat idea, so I'll share it anyway. I'm not saying we're by any stretch, oops, I did not mean to climb up there. We are not in any way, shape, or form experts at this yet because we haven't done it that many times. Ooh, hello. But we did find something kind of neat here, so I'll share it. As I said, we're hiding behind these buildings and using them as cover so we can take out some of the guys because there's quite a few of them. I would assume this strategy that I'm about to describe will work in hard difficulty as well, but I don't know because we haven't tried it. So as soon as I get over to this next little building, I'm going to cut across here. Now in just a second my friend's going to come over here, and we had a bright idea. Actually, he had a bright idea. I'll give him credit for that. He pointed out that there's a little catwalk up here where there's guys shooting at us, and you'll be able to see it here in just a second. He found that there was like a metal shield on the front of the catwalk where they were, and he said, well, that would be a great place to defend from. And here he is pointing at it, right up there on that catwalk, that metal shield. So he said, if I can get to that, I can cover you, and you can go up and get the lights. And sure enough, it worked. And I will say that we tried this, several times, and failed, and doing it this way really worked. So I'm not exactly sure how he's working his way up to that spot, but that's where he's going.
Enemies in front of you. You're gonna have to go through them to get to the switch.
At this point, we had done this so many times that I was certainly totally out of armor. I'm not sure how many my friends still had left, but I was completely out of armor. Right now I'm just using auto aim, and it's kind of difficult to get some of these guys because they're hiding behind the posts. And he, I think you can see there on the map, is working his way to that little shield, he referred to it, little metal shield, so he could shoot these guys. And it looked like he's doing pretty well there. I think he's in that spot by now and really cleaning some of these guys out. So as soon as I feel a little safe, I'm gonna come up. Sure, I thought there was somebody down underneath. Okay. After as many times as we went through this and didn't do so well, I'm being pretty careful this particular time. Especially since I had no armor left. I think from down here I am going to be one level above where my friend is, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of where he went in case you wanted to try this. I think that level right there below me is where he is. You can see him there firing. And I'm going to load up on some snacks, keep my health up, and go up one more level. Now you'll notice there's green dots on the other end is where they want me to go. I have to trigger those dots. Whoops, there we go. So see, it's pretty quiet in here now. That location that my friend found really gave him some pretty good shelter, so he could defend me while I got up here. There are a few guys down here guarding these generators. As I recall, I don't think you have to pay for, maybe you do, ammo for this one, so I just kind of kept shooting. There's a lot of these in the Doomsday Heist. They don't make you pay for the ammo, which is kind of cool. I just wish I knew which ones do and which ones don't. Okay, so my health is pretty bad now. We'll grab a few more snacks. Okay. And you can see my friend is coming over. So I kind of missed it. I hit the right arrow a little too soon and turned my night vision headset off. And my friend didn't know where the switch was, because he's usually defending, not doing the switch.
You got it, all right. It'll take a few seconds to kick back in.
And now I can turn the night vision off.
Juice, baby. Now take the Avenger and bring her in.
So since we took our time and we're very careful to clear guys out, this is a pretty easy trip back. Now do be careful. One of my friends thought it would be easy to just sort of jump off of one of these levels and down to another one, and after working so hard to clear out all the bad guys, he ended up dying when he jumped over one of these rails. So be careful if you're going to try that. So all we have to do now is get down and jump in the Avenger and get out of here. Go. So my friend's going to fly, and I'm going to start out in the front and show you I'll get back in the back.
The Avenger has VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. Yeah, VTOL. So fly it up over those goons and bring it back.
Don't think I missed any dialogue there while leaving, but there's a little more as soon as I get into the hold.
Just to let you know, all Merryweather equipment is insured fully comp. So they will be trying to shoot that bird out of the sky instead of getting it back. They'll be trying to track you using...
Okay, so it did look like I lost a little bit when I was getting into the turret here. Sorry about that. The point here is, as you're flying back, as long as you keep it low, and you can see that on the altitude meter there on the right at the bottom, as long as you keep your altitude nice and low, they don't chase you. So we usually prefer, since we're going to Polito, we just go out to the ocean and stay right over that and don't get too high, and it's really not so bad. And you can see me here switching from different turrets.
Still coming? You have to admire their perseverance. That's how they land the big contracts, Mr. Crest. Well, we got this one.
So
Stay low.
we're just flying back, and if we were a little higher, we would be getting harassed by helicopters with missiles. But since we're staying nice and low, we're not. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit and save some of this travel time.
All right, almost here. You can see how a tilt-rotor aircraft might be just what we need to stop a sub full of Russian terrorists and who knows what else. The Doomsday clock is ticking. 10 seconds to midnight, and it's our finger on the hand. Yeah. You know, the end of the world isn't really a powerful motivator for us. We're all about the cash, so just give it a rest, okay? Okay, you're clear.
Now if you're the pilot, you just turn the blades back up into the VTOL and turn it basically from a prop plane to a helicopter and land it right here. And don't shoot these guys. These guys are friendlies.
I'll have some IAA interns get ready for the op. Speak soon.
that is it. If we continue to do the setups for Act 2 in order, the next one would be Rescue ULP. This particular setup has two different roles, so throughout this part of the video I'm going to be showing you two different instances where I did this so you can see both roles that are involved and so you can hear all of the dialogue. So as for the two roles, you have the ground team, they go into the foundry and rescue the agent. And then you have the lookout team who goes up on a tower and defends the ground team. I'll start first with a little video that includes all of the dialogue at the start of this setup.
So, from the look of things, they're holding ULP at the Grand Banks Foundry near Cypress Flats. ULP. Of all those public sector dinosaurs, this guy is the most Mesozoic. That's the right term, by the way. It was always, sign this off in triplicate. How we got funding for that? And let's run it by Congress. No wonder he was too slow out in the field, got himself caught. He must have been on to something, or they wouldn't have kidnapped him. He wasn't. He chased the wrong data. Caused problems for everyone. Clifford blew this all open in a second when none of them could. It was all there, the trail, but they could not see the data. They were too stupid. I'm the equivalent of 3 trillion people, all thinking the same thing. How interesting. Let's just pick up ULP and hear what he's got to say. This is an old agent. You know, I heard about him running some poor bank robber in Liberty City like a decade ago. And what happened to him? Anyway, this old agent was looking into the data breaches and poof, he disappears. I'd leave him disappeared, but the boss, Mrs. Rackman, won't pay us unless we get him. 2 teams are gonna handle this. One positioned on the water tower across the way using long-range weapons to defend the building. The other going in on the ground, getting their hands dirty and pulling them out. They've got men all over the foundry, inside and out. These are military personnel on foreign soil. They will not give up. They will not surrender. They're trying to destroy fucking democracy, okay? Not cool. Mrs. Rackman says the priority is the extraction of asset ULP intact. That's right. It's my turn to debrief that son of a gun. Bitch. Yeah, okay, well, we get him out alive and we're all happy.
Now I'm going to skip ahead and show you the remainder of the video where I was on the ground team so you can see what's involved with going inside to rescue the agent. Here we are arriving at the foundry.
Intel suggests he's in a small room at the top of the building. You know what to do.
So they want you to go in this door here on the left, but one of my friends found that it's difficult to get a defensible position in there, and so he tried coming in this back door and found it a whole lot easier to defend yourself. It seems like most of the time you're sneaking up on the guys and they don't even know you're coming when you come in this back way. So we tried it and actually found it worked pretty well. This was the first time I had ever had the ground team role in this particular setup. So I was just basically shooting everything that moved and following my friend, trying to stay alive. You may recognize this foundry from story mode. I believe there's a part where it might be Michael and Trevor that are in here, but at least Michael I remember. It's been a while. You may notice from time to time here the video will jump ahead a little bit. I cut some out when there was nothing happening just to make the video a little shorter and save some time. Uh-oh. Lost a friend. That's the good thing about doing it on normal difficulty, is at least we didn't have to start all over, because you can lose one life. And since I recorded this video, our crew has started doing some of the heist missions on hard, but we're still working through them, trying to find the best ways to complete them and do them really well. And if we get to the point where we have some tips and tricks worth sharing, maybe I'll make some new videos about that too. For now, this is just to let you see what it's all about. It looks like we've done a pretty good job now of clearing out most of the guys on this main level. So now it's telling us to go to the stairs. And we're going to work our way over here and go on up.
Now take a right at the top of the stairs and keep going around the outside wall. There will be men all over the place.
Apparently they're a little cranky too. So you will see more guys spawning in down on the lower level, whether you cleaned them all up in the beginning or not. And we are working our way around to the agent.
You follow that wall, then you'll come to another set of stairs. Take them up. Keep pushing. It's a service room right at the top.
I got myself stuck on that rail there.
Keep going up. You'll find it. Get to the service room.
Now, I didn't go in the room to get him, but I remember my friend saying you had to go in there a little bit slowly and carefully. Maybe there's a guy in there with him or something you might blow up if you're not careful when you go in there. So you can see he's going in rather carefully and cautiously. Can't recall why though.
Fuck! You fucker mother! God damn it. What are you doing here? So much for intelligence gap. Let's go.
I would assume by the dialogue that meant there were guys in there with him. And there you can see on the mini-map, the agent is just to my right. You'll see him when I turn around here. Make sure he stays with you.
I look like a field agent? Take those guys out.
I had an instance where I was on the lookout team and my teammate was in here doing the recovery, and the agent came with him, but then he got stuck at the top of the stairs and wouldn't leave, and we don't know what happened there.
Let's go.
Okay, you've got our agent. Now get him out of there the same way you came in.
I clipped a little of the video there because we kind of took a wrong turn and wasted a little time, so
It's too hot. Clear a path for me.
I skipped ahead back to where we caught back up with the agent just to save some time.
This up yet? Move it.
He does not sound very grateful.
Down. Come on.
I'm trying. She won't go down that tiny little stairwell. There we go. Now, he did say we're going to go back out the way we came in, which is really the way he wanted us to come in, through the front door, not the way we came in through the back door. Although I'm kind of wondering if going out the back door might have been easier.
Group up, and get out of there. God damn it. I haven't been in a car chase since the wall came down. There's an armored vehicle in the parking lot. You should use it.
Now that we've made it outside, I'm going to skip ahead and show you a little bit of the lookout team role, and we'll pick it up there at the same spot when we leave. So when you first get here,
Intel suggests he's in a small room at the top of the building. You know what to do.
You have to get over here to the right, close to the back door, where this tower is, and climb up and defend. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'll just show you the parts that have dialogue and the parts that are important that you need to know, such as, you know, helicopters coming after you and that kind of thing. So we'll just climb right up here.
They've clearly sent out a distress signal or something, because a lot more of them are on the way.
Now, once you're up here, some of the tricky parts are this little fence around the top of the tower does defend you a bit, but you have to get pretty close to it to shoot over. You can see I'm sort of shooting the top of the fence there and not really getting the guys on the ground. So you do have to scoot up quite a bit to get them. Basically, you want to just keep cleaning guys out, and I'm going to skip ahead here and show you there will be helicopters, and they're pretty vicious. So I like to get out the minigun and be ready for them. Take them out before they get too close and start lighting me up. A very important tip to know when you've got this roll is to your left, where you came up that ladder, their guys will come up that ladder and shoot you. So watch for them on the mini-map. And here we are now back to the original one where I was part of the ground team. We've collected him and we're going to leave. And this is one of their insurgents, but mine is right around the corner. So we're going to pull up and take it instead, since it's a little faster and has some more weapon upgrades and such. So we're just going to jump in that and head out. The agent's picky. He wants to sit in the front seat. So I skipped ahead on the drive.
Well, this is a hell of a lot of excitement for one day.
You'll have enemies along the way and quite a bit of dialogue on the way back.
So, tell me, who authorized this crackpot operation? Hey, I'm talking to you. Was it 14? Backman? Whoever's running this show has got a lot to answer for. It might have looked like I was caught over there, but that was smoke. It was a play to make them think I'd go double. I've been working the Russians ever since they started coming in on Israeli passports. I was the first in 91, and the first out in 11. Yeah, I know their moves. I know their counter moves. And all this smells off. Something's happening here. We don't know what it is, how deep it goes. I was this close to unlocking it. The Russian agents, the data thefts, the leaks, all this nonsense. Bogdan was on his way to talk. But then you come along, and now you probably, for all I know, started World War III. God damn it.
That's all really important dialogue to the story.
Clifford decoded the Russian comms. They won't chase you much longer. Bring that agent.
Sorry, that was a bad little edit there, but we didn't miss any other dialogue. He just said bring him home.
The Russians backed off. You're clear. Drop him at the airstrip and they'll fly him to Avon for debriefing.
Avon hurts. That annoying squirt's back at the agency.
That's about it for this setup, so we'll move ahead to the next one.
Okay, here is ULP. My men will take him from here.
Someone put me on the phone to Rackman.
The next setup in Act 2 is set up, salvage hard drives. There's 4 different locations where you have to drive the riot control van and put out fires with the water cannons in little vans that have hard drives in the back. There are 2 separate roles. The first role for operators are basically the ones that drive the riot control van and control the water cannons to put out the fires and keep the enemies back. And then the salvage team are the ones who jump out and get the hard drives out of the burned out vans. But you all ride in the same riot control van together to all the locations. First we'll hear a little dialogue about this setup, and then I'll skip ahead to the actual mission.
Get into the riot control van and make your way towards the location. These bad actors are trying to wipe out our culture. They stole some vital hard drives from my company and they're torching them. You hear that? We've got to save Avon's company's stolen hard drives before these Russian actors or agents or ballerinas or whatever they are burn them to goo.
The unfortunate part about being the driver in this one is it's a very slow vehicle, and 2, you have no guns to defend yourself. All you have is the water cannon, so you do tend to get shot up a lot as the driver.
We got 2 teams here. One's putting out fires, the other's salvaging what's left of Avon's files. The RCV you're driving's designed for powering through picket lines and mounted with dual high-power water cannons for blowing away protesters. Alarming requirements for private security guards, but hey, useful for our purposes. Oh, come on. What, you don't like my dorm room politics?
I'll cut out a little bit of the drive time here and get us right ahead to the first burn site.
Okay, you're coming up on the first burn site. Stop the fires, get the files. Hey, my drives are in that burning van. Use the water cannon to put it out, please. Salvage team, wait until they've been extinguished, then go for the files.
As we pull in here at the first burn site, you'll see there's a target A and a target B meter. Those are for the 2 vans that are on fire, and the lower the meter goes down, the more you're going to burn up the van and lose the hard drives that are in them. So you need to first put out the fire, then retrieve the hard drive. So my teammate's going to jump out here and go get the hard drive, and I kind of backed over him there. And I'm going to go over here to the next one and put the fire out. That was target B, and now we have target A. And this is what I was referring to earlier. I'm kind of a sitting duck with no defenses except the water cannon here because my teammate's not with me. Suppose I could jump out and shoot them, but I had very little armor when we did this, so I chose not to do it this time.
You got it all? Okay. Now I need you in town. There's another burn site.
Okay, so I'm going to skip a little bit of this trip as well, but not all of it because there is some dialogue.
Looks like they really want these files erased. This codename Bogdan is sending agents to try and stop you. You've got to stop them stopping you, alright? Some of those files have Clifford on them. Take a look at that riot van. Private security vans like that will be everywhere in a couple of years. What are you talking about? Do you send your kids I lose, the more the human race gets set back in its quest for living forever and being much better. Okay, that slogan needs work. I know, I admit it. Move, move, move! You there? Now put out the fires and save the files!
Get out of here! Get out of here!
At this second burn site, you'll see there's 3 targets, A, B, and C. So you have to put out 3 fires and retrieve 3 hard drives.
Oh, good. You can get those files now.
You can see them on the mini-map too, so you can figure out where you need to be.
And it's out. Pick 'em up.
I think my friend's going to jump out right around here. And I'm going to pull up to the next burn. This guy on the left is just lighting me up.
The agents are gangsters or bad people.
Since there were less guys back here, I probably should have jumped out and shot them so I'd be safer.
Now hold on. They're going for the files.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little till my teammate gets here to pick up the files from this van. I think you'll see him, the yellow dot there, coming over to van A. And I'm still trying to get this guy down.
Good job there. Now move to the other side. If there's a roadblock in your way, go straight through it. Hey, just think about it, Crest. After the machine learning revolution, it'll be us in our high towers, eating poke and playing board games, while the slow to adapt are all out there banging the gates. All the doctors, lawyers, accountants, teachers, professional suckers with too many degrees. You and me, my friend and colleague, will be manning the water cannons. How, utopian. What? No, it's a blueprint for a perfect world. Why pay tax for crap services when you can look after yourself? I certainly make every effort to minimize liability. Of course you do.
I'm gonna skip a little more of the travel time here, but we won't miss the dialogue. And here we are now arriving at the next one.
I don't know how heat-resistant Avon's hard drives are, but I'd get over there.
We tried a slightly different approach coming in. Gave us a little better angle getting in here.
They're trying to wipe me out. Put out that fire. I mean, they're really trying to wipe you out. How many agents are there? Save my files.
There were a smaller
I am doing what you gotta do.
There were a smaller number of guys over here, so it was easier coming in this side. And I'm like too close to that van to put it out now, so I had to back up a little bit.
The fire's out. The looting begins. Hang in there. Extinguish.
Now this one had 4 targets.
Bastards. Now see what you can save.
4 vans, I should say. I've already put out 2 of them.
Put it out and don't get, killed or anything. And it's out. Pick him up. Watch out. I'm reloading. Spray everything.
And as you can see, I have no more armor.
Good work. Hold while they salvage.
I'll skip ahead slightly here and give my teammate time to pick up all the hard drives from the 4 burned out vans.
Okay, there's one more burn site. The bad guys cannot win today. Get over there quick.
And we'll skip a little more travel time here. There's no dialogue, but it'll get us closer to the last drop, or the last site.
Agents in the air, look out!
Well, now you got a helicopter after you, but the good news is he's not particularly vicious. and this overpass up here hangs him up, and the helicopter pretty much leaves you alone after that, which is good because it's very hard to shoot him from the RCV. You'll notice on this one there's 5 vans.
This is Clifford code. Put them out as quick as you can. They're really throwing agents at this, like a lot of them. Look out! Save the files. Protect the RCV.
At this point I had no armor left, and I think I didn't even have any snacks left. So I just kept trying to pull the truck up and shield me and the driver's side
Those files now.
as much as I could. This dialogue's not really relevant. He's just saying, put out the fires, get the files.
Get my files out of there.
Now you'll notice my teammate is staying with me in the RCV for this one. There's an awful lot of people out here. Quite a lot to deal with for just 2 players.
Looks out. Get in there.
I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but we hadn't quite figured it out at this point. I think this was maybe the second or third time I had ever even done this mission.
Okay, see what's left of the files.
Now we'll come around to the back here and put out the last fire. And first I try to hose these guys back just to keep them from killing me, since I had no health or armor left. I should say no snacks, that is. I'm back over that guy. After I get this last fire put out, I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit. My teammate jumped out and got the files out of this van, and then I met him around the corner at the next one. So I started trying to pull the van up, the riot control van up close to the burned out van so I could shield my teammate while he went in and retrieved the files. Because with just 2 of us, it was very difficult to try to take out all of the attackers. So I'm really close to that van, and now he's switching over to the next one. So I'll pull up here and give him shelter again and try not to run over him. That would be bad. Okay. And he'll jump over me there, and I'll drive this big truck over. I was trying to figure out what he was doing there. There we go. Okay, I kind of forgot about that van B there and went straight to van A. And my teammate will figure out where I am, and he'll come over here and get it out of van A first. And as soon as he's done there, we'll back up, get rid of that guy first, and I'll shelter him here. And after he gets these last files, we just have to return the van and we're done.
You got it. That's everything. Now go. You better pay us extra for this, Mr. Hertz. All right, now just bring the files to the drop-off. Hey, I've been thinking, if your AI is so clever and he's gonna make all us redundant, how come he's stuck in a hard drive? Give him time, okay? He's mostly up in the cloud, but everyone knows the cloud is entirely unsecure, so some of him needs to stay fairly analog. Anyway, I'd like to see you get cut into pieces, put into vans, and burned at separate locations around the city. Well, then for my next trick, I'll pull a rabbit out of my ass. Please. You know what I miss? Not having a boss, choosing scores, not getting them forced on me. There was a reason I didn't go into government, or any regular employment for that matter.
Thankfully, this last trip is a pretty short one. For those of you with the La Puerta vehicle warehouse, this is a very familiar area to you. And there we go. That's all for this setup.
Here they are. Your precious Clifford code is back, Mr. Hertz. That was almost a major disaster for all seriously intelligent life on this planet, my friends. Well averted.
The last setup for Act 2 is Setup Submarine Recon. There are 2 teams for this one. One team is going to Paleto Cove to scan a submarine, an active submarine, and the other team is going to scan airplane wreckage in the ocean at Paleto Bay. Now, I regret I don't have good footage of the airplane wreckage, but it's the exact same concept as what you see here for the team that's going to scan the submarine. You're just scanning the airplane wreckage instead.
Get in the Strombergs. The cars have been repaired and the ECUs are in the torpedoes. You're gonna use them for this recce mission and then for the main move on the submarine when everything else is done, yeah? Anyway, first we'll need to stop the sub's resupply convoy. Then we'll go into the water to take a look at it. Well, you should be coming up on them soon. Stay on the highway. The sooner you take out the convoy, the sooner you get wet. I love the water. You kite surf, Crest? I'd look like I've got a wasting disease. Oh, you should try it. I've got a wasting disease. Anyone can do it, as long as they've got the time and money to get down to Baja when the wind's right, and they got a little guy on staff to paddle out and launch their kites. How egalitarian. Oh yeah. My kite surfing buddies are like the most diverse group of people. Some of them are billionaires and Vinewood actors, and some are just regular old Snapmatic influencers with 8-figure trust funds. I did my whole Series B round out on the waves. When golf's not elitist enough. Exactly, Chris. We'll get you out there. I like to take pictures of myself working out, like a normal, regular guy with his buddies. I just love social media. We're being paid to destroy the convoy, okay? That's why we earn the big bucks. Okay, here we go. Your rebuilt vehicles were equipped with missiles and guns. Give them a test. The boys on that submarine are gonna hate watching this. Get moving! It is absolutely necessary the whole convoy is taken out. Do not let any of them get to the resupply. We will cut that submarine off and let them all starve out there. Hunt them down and kill them! Convoy down. Now, we need you to split up into teams and look for that submarine. There are 2 separate areas to investigate. The Strombergs are now fully submersible and reinforced for all depths. Shit! I'm detecting a network of naval mines around the sub. If we want to move on that vessel later, you're gonna have to clear them all now.
I'll cut just a tiny bit of the travel time here. And remember, don't hit the right arrow to go in submersible mode too soon here, because if you do, you'll burn up the Stromberg on sand. So do it as you're entering the water.
I've sent you an image via email. These are the underwater mines you need to destroy. Alright, well, good thing we brought torpedoes. They have a shorter range, so you've got to get fairly close to the mines in order to lock on. Too close and you'll get caught in a blast, but, you know, you can figure that out.
Sorry I neglected to open the text that Lester sent with the picture of the mines that we're going to blow up, but you'll see them yourself here in a moment in the video. And each target has an up or a down arrow to let you know if you need to go up or down to get to the mine. And once you've locked on, I think we're about to find one here. There it is. You lock on and you fire the torpedo.
Okay, you got the first mine. Now for the rest.
Each team has 10 of these to take out. There's another.
You're making the oceans a little safer. That's good. I'm putting out an acoustic signal. It'll confuse the sub sensors and make it blind to you. They're gonna find a way to cancel out the noise soon, so get that info and get it quick. You do not want to be there when they can see you on their screens.
There's your first look at the submarine.
Keep clearing the way.
Both teams see the same thing. They both have 10 mines. It's just the terrain underwater is a little bit different. And where this team has the submarine, the other team has plane wreckage that they're swimming around, I guess.
Keep sweeping. You're the minesweeper.
There are a couple of cool little rock tunnels down here like this to get the mines. And we'll come around this turn here. We have 3 more to go. You've got a little meter there at the bottom that tells you how many you've done. And pardon me while I geek out a little bit, but I still think it's amazing that they put so much detail in this game for underwater areas where people don't spend that much time anyway. I just think that's really cool.
Okay, you're doing good work.
Okay, 2 more to go. There's one. And when we're done, we're going to go either scan the submarine
Wouldn't want a whale to run into that. Clear 'em up.
or the other team will scan the airplane wreckage instead of the sub. So here we go.
Okay, looks like you've cleared all your mines. Alright, run the scan.
Oops. Good thing they didn't hear that vibration inside, huh? Just stay in the little yellow target until that scan is complete. And then we move on to the next one. For those of you who haven't driven the Strombergs into the water yet, your reflex is to want to use the left trigger to go down, but it actually pulls you up. It goes into reverse. So that takes a little getting used to. And here's the last scan.
Okay, we got details on an airlock. You can get out of there now. Shit! They're putting out a counter signal. If you're anywhere near that submarine, you've got a crew of angry Russian submariners looking right at you. Power the propellers, get out of there!
Just head back to shore.
Bank robbers. If you're paying, they'll do anything a spy can do. Kill, steal, lie. Everything except the sexual harassment. That's a step too far, so...
Doesn't really matter where you come up, just get to shore and then you can go to the drop-off. And just like coming in, make sure you disable the submersible feature on the Stromberg very carefully as you're coming up to land, because if you do it too soon in the water, the car will drown. And gotta do it quickly or it'll also burn up if you don't.
Plans are underway for our final push on the sub. The lines are gone. The scans brought back details of an access hatch we can override and their weapons capabilities. Or lack thereof. No one wants rogue Russian agents with nuclear capabilities sitting just off the coast of San Andreas, but no one wants to start World War III either. A manned assault is our only hope of peaceful resolution. One of Bogdan's men on board reached out to me. I'm going to cultivate him as a source and plan out the final steps. Avon out. Roger that.
That's the last of the setups for Act 2, The Bogdan Problem. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of my Doomsday Heist story series videos, and there's lots of other videos on my channel you may also find helpful. A like for the video and a subscription to my channel would be greatly appreciated.
Our sailors have returned. Don't get comfortable, because you'll be back down there soon enough.
And after you've completed the last setup, you get one last message from Lester. Thanks again. Go forth and save Los Santos from Doomsday.
Okay, the networks are down, the equipment is ready, and we've crippled their supplies. Mrs. Rackman has written our check and given us the green light. We're good to finally move on that submarine and stop this threat once and for all. When you're ready, get your crew together and head back to planning.